"Oh, Jonathan, you let your parents use me. You stole my safe, lied to me, and then vanished without a trace. But did you even check what was inside the safe before you committed the crime?" "I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't steal anything from you." "Cut the act. I know you took it. But guess what? There wasn't any money in that safe." "What? No money? But I thought you said you had savings in there." "I did say that, didn't I? But I replaced the money with something far more valuable. My name is Mary. I'm 58 years old, and I've always had a passion for saving money. It all began when my mum opened a savings account for me as a kid, and I got hooked on watching the numbers in my passbook grow. Bit by bit, I saved, starting with just $1. Seeing my savings grow by a few cents in interest each year always delighted me. As time went on, my interest in finance blossomed into a career. By the time I was 27, I was working as a financial planner, offering advice on asset management. One day, a college friend asked me to help an old childhood friend named Jonathan, who was in serious trouble due to gambling, along with his parents. I agreed to meet him and see how I could assist. When I met Jonathan, I was immediately charmed by his handsome looks and genuine smile. From the start, he was honest with me about his situation. He came from a problematic family. Both of his parents had a gambling problem, and he was burdened with their debt. I gladly offered him my advice. I never expected it to lead to something more, but life has a funny way of surprising us. As time passed, I found myself drawn to Jonathan's vulnerability and honesty. Despite his troubles, there was a spark in his eyes that showed he genuinely wanted to change his life and support his parents. He didn't try to hide anything, and I admired his courage to open up about his struggles. It made me want to help him even more. As I advised him on consolidating his debts and reducing his monthly payments, we spent more time together. I began to look forward to our meetings and enjoyed his company. There was something about him that made me feel comfortable and at ease. Our friendship grew stronger, and I found myself thinking about him even when we weren't together. I admired his determination to improve his life, and it inspired me to support him wholeheartedly. Gradually, my feelings for Jonathan began to change. I couldn't deny that I was falling for him. His caring nature and genuine personality drew me in, and I realized that I wanted to be more than just a friend to him. It wasn't easy to admit my feelings, especially considering the circumstances, but I took a leap of faith and told him how I felt. To my surprise, he confessed that he felt the same way. It was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and a new sense of happiness filled my heart. Our relationship blossomed from there, and we became inseparable. Jonathan's smile became my favourite sight, and his presence brought me comfort and joy. We laughed together, shared our dreams, and supported each other through both the good and the challenging times. Falling in love with Jonathan was unexpected, and it happened so naturally as I let my guard down. Despite opposition from some of my friends, we got married, hoping that together we could face Jonathan's debts. My income was good for my age group, so most of Jonathan's earnings went toward his debt, while I provided for both of us. At first I didn't mind because I truly trusted Jonathan. Over the years we gradually reduced his debt to about $20,000, a significant achievement that made me proud. We even had a son, Lucas, who inherited his father's looks and charm. Lucas was my pride and joy, but I couldn't help but notice that he also picked up on Jonathan's lack of discipline and indecisiveness. Jonathan, on the other hand, was changing in ways I couldn't quite understand. The constant conflict with his parents seemed to wear him down, and he lost the determination he once had to change his life. Occasionally, Jonathan would borrow money from predatory lenders or try to trick friends into lending him cash. I did my best to keep him in check, but it was exhausting. As time passed, my in-laws' financial situation worsened, and they started asking Jonathan for more money. It seemed like they were struggling to make ends meet, which I found odd. I told Jonathan that I couldn't tolerate this situation much longer. I couldn't be the only one who wanted to save money and change our lives for the better. Jonathan and his parents needed that same determination. Jonathan finally decided to stop providing for his parents to prevent his debt from growing any further. To be fair, I didn't think it would be such a big problem. His parents ran a small grocery store, and I believed that if they set their minds to it, they could pay off the $20,000 debt within a year. I supported Jonathan's decision, and it brought us some peace, but I had no idea it would lead to new problems. My in-laws didn't take the cut ties lightly and started blaming Jonathan for being ungrateful and not repaying their debts. The situation became tense. One day, Jonathan's mum called me with a sharp attitude. "Hello, Marie. Glad I have you on the phone." "Hi, Diane. How have you been?" "Let's skip the small talk, shall we? Don't you have anything to say to my face, huh?" Is everything okay? Are you talking about what happened with Jonathan? I know it's been hard for everyone, but I hope we can discuss this calmly." "Calmly? How can I be calm when my own son has abandoned us?" "Diane, Jonathan didn't abandon you. He made a difficult decision because we couldn't bear the constant demands for money." "Oh, and it's all you're doing, isn't it? I knew it. You've always been controlling him, whispering things in his ear." "Diane, that's not true. I've been very supportive of Jonathan." "Supporting him? I bet you just wanted him to get rid of his responsibilities toward us so you could keep all his money for yourself." "That's not fair. I've worked hard to help Jonathan pay off his debts. We've been through a lot." "You think you know challenges. You have no idea what it's like to struggle like I do. I understand that it's been tough for you, but Jonathan can't keep giving you money indefinitely. He needs to take care of his own family now, and that includes our son." "You're brainwashing him. I know it. He would never have done this if it weren't for you." "Please, Diane, stop with the accusations. Jonathan is an adult, and he made this decision on his own. I didn't force him into anything." "I don't believe you. You've always wanted to control him and take advantage of him." "That's not true." "Well, it's clear that he's changed. He used to be so caring and considerate of us, and now he's just cold and distant. I blame you for all of this." "Diane, I hope you can find it in your heart to understand and forgive him. He loves you, but he also needs to take care of his own family now." "I don't want to listen to your lecture, Mary. I'm done with you. At least now I know who you really are." And just like that, my mother-in-law hung up the phone. Both of my in-laws refused to speak to me unless I apologized, but I didn't feel I had done anything wrong. I was simply protecting myself and our child's future. But the drama didn't end there. In fact, things only got worse. One day, something terrible happened. My father-in-law collapsed, and Jonathan rushed to the hospital to be with his parents. It turned out he'd had a stroke, which could have been fatal if he hadn't gotten to the hospital in time. Jonathan decided to start providing for his parents again and messaged me about the situation. Jonathan apologized for breaking our promise of not giving them money. He was torn between supporting his parents and keeping our agreement. I understood his predicament and supported him in providing some financial assistance for his dad's medical bills. After all, they were still his family, but it hurt to see him go back on our promise, especially after all the hard work we'd put into reducing their debt. I also made it clear to Jonathan that this incident gave his parents more reason to start saving. They were getting older, and their health was at risk. Jonathan agreed to have a serious conversation with them soon. As time went on, it was time for Lucas to go off to high school. He had always been a very gifted kid, so I tried to send him to the best school we could afford. Lucas was really ambitious, just like I was at his age. He had expressed his wish to study abroad in Europe multiple times, but with everything that had been going on, we weren't sure if we could afford it. Well, to be fair, Jonathan wasn't sure. I had always been prepared in that regard. One day, Jonathan sat me down to talk about Lucas's future. "Hey, Mary, can we talk for a moment?" "Of course, Jonathan. What's on your mind?" "Well, I've been thinking about Lucas's future and wondering if we could afford to send him to college." "Listen, Jonathan, I've actually been saving up specifically for his education for a long, long time now." "Oh? How come I never knew about this?" "I just know you have a lot on your plate, especially financially. But look, I have around $200,000 in savings that we can use." "Oh, that's good to know. I just want to make sure he has the best opportunities, you know?" "I understand, Jonathan. We both want what's best for Lucas, and I'm glad we can support him through college." "It's great that you've been so responsible with our finances, Mary." "Well, it's been a passion of mine, and I wanted to ensure we have a secure future for ourselves and Lucas. Mary, do you keep your passbook and cash in the safe?" Yes. Why do you ask?" "Oh, no reason. I was just wondering if we could use the safe for something else." "Something else? Like what?" "Oh, just thinking about some personal stuff. Don't worry about it, okay?" Is everything all right?" "Everything's fine, Mary. Don't worry too much." I had an uneasy feeling after that conversation, but I didn't know why. Jonathan seemed really sneaky over the next few days, trying to be around whenever I opened the safe. It was as if he wanted to check if the money was really in there. I should have known better by then, but I didn't want to trust my gut feeling. Soon I found out that Jonathan was really up to no good. Just a few days later, I woke up to an eerily empty house. A sense of unease crept in. Lucas had already left for school, but there was no sign of Jonathan. Normally he would have been in the kitchen brewing coffee and humming a tune, but today there was silence. As I walked around the house, the realization slowly sunk in. My safe was missing too. Panic surged through me as questions flooded my mind. What had happened? Where could Jonathan have gone with the safe? Had he taken all my savings? I tried calling Jonathan repeatedly, but he didn't answer. Each ring echoed through the empty rooms, mocking my desperation. I even tried calling my in-laws, but they weren't picking up either. It was as if they had all vanished into thin air. Then I noticed the divorce papers lying on the kitchen counter, already signed by Jonathan. Fear and confusion gripped me as I clung to the hope that this was all just a misunderstanding. The only lead I had was the hospital where my father-in-law had supposedly been admitted. My mind raced with possible scenarios as I drove there, my heart pounding in my chest. When I arrived, I rushed to the reception desk and asked about him. To my shock, the receptionist informed me there was no record of him being admitted. It felt like a punch to the gut. They had lied to me. My hands trembled as I called the police, my voice shaky as I explained the situation. I knew I had to report Jonathan's disappearance and the missing safe. The police assured me that they would investigate and do everything they could to catch him. Then I texted Jonathan. "How's Texas?" "Wait, what? You think I wouldn't know where you are, hubby? What the hell is going on? What do you know?" "Oh, I know exactly where you are, Jonathan, but I'm not going to tell you how. Not yet." "What do you mean? This isn't funny, Mary. Where are you?" "Oh, but Jonathan, I thought you were the one who liked surprises. I've got a surprise for you." "This isn't the time for games, Mary. Tell me where you are now." "No, Jonathan, you don't deserve to know. You don't deserve anything from me after what you've done." What are you talking about? I haven't done anything. Oh, Jonathan, you've done plenty. You let your parents use me, stole my savings, lied to me, and disappeared without a trace. But did you even check inside the safe before committing the crime? I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't steal anything from you. Cut the act. I know you took it. But guess what? There's no money in that safe. What? No money? But I thought you said you had savings in there. I did say that, didn't I? But I replaced the money with something far more valuable. A tracker. Wait, what? The police are already on their way. They're going to put you in jail. No, this isn't supposed to happen. Please, Mary, don't do this. I'll change. I'll do better. Just give me another chance. I've given you enough chances, Jonathan, and now it's time for you to face the consequences of your actions. Please, Mary, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just trying to look out for my parents. And not for me? Not for your child? You're a horrible, horrible human being, Jonathan. You deserve this. No, Mary, please, I can't go to jail. Goodbye, Jonathan. The police quickly found Jonathan and his parents hiding in Texas with my safe in their possession. Multiple investigations were conducted, and it turned out Jonathan's parents had been complicit in the deception all along. They'd been spending money on illegal gambling, and the story about the stroke had been a ploy to gain sympathy and extract even more money from me. In the aftermath, Jonathan and his parents were arrested for their involvement in illegal gambling and fraudulent behaviour. It was a painful realisation that the man I once loved had been leading a double life behind my back. The legal battle was tough, and Jonathan was ordered to pay both child support and a settlement for the debts he had incurred over the years. Amidst the chaos, I found solace in my friends and family who supported me through the challenging times. They reminded me that I wasn't at fault for Jonathan's choices and that I deserved better. Their love and encouragement gave me the strength to move forward. Slowly but surely, I began to rebuild my life. It wasn't easy, but I was determined not to let this dark chapter define me. I focused on my career, nurtured my passions, and fostered meaningful relationships with those who truly cared for me. Most importantly, I forgave myself for trusting Jonathan. In hindsight, there were so many red flags, but I was blinded by love. I owned up to my mistake and set out to help other women make better financial decisions. My son Lucas soon went abroad for college, but he still visited me occasionally and updated me on his life and his new girlfriend. It was heartwarming to see him happy, and I couldn't help but smile whenever he shared his stories. As I moved forward, I decided to start a new bank account and continue my passion for saving money. It had always brought me joy, and now I would focus on myself and my own happiness. Looking back, I realized I had been putting others before myself for far too long. It was time to live for me, to cherish my own happiness, and to let go of the past that had held me back for so many years. My life may have taken unexpected turns, but now I was the one in control, and I was the happiest I had ever been.